Hey, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches, and I have a treat in store for you today. This is going to become the first in a regular series. But before I tell you about what this video is going to be all about, let's do a quick wristwatch check. We have the Tudor Blue Pelagos, and I've put it on the rubber strap, and yeah, I'm kind of digging it on the rubber. Not everybody likes rubber, but hey, the bracelet is titanium, and so this is switching it up for a change. Yes, we're in the bathroom, in case you were wondering. Why? Well, I don't know. I thought this would make kind of a cool background, but there's shower rings and a curtain, and yeah, it's probably not working as good as I thought. But anyway, what are we going to do here? From now on, I'm going to be searching through the comments on my videos, looking for questions and comments of note that we can make a video about when we deal with kind of like, you know, viewer Q&A. So if you would like to be featured in an upcoming video, all you need to do is leave a question or a pithy comment either in this video or in any of the other ones that I post, and yeah, periodically I'll assemble them just like in this one. So hope you enjoy this, and let me know in the comments, is this a regular feature that you would like to see me continue doing? On my video called I Am Subbed Archie Luxury Part 3, oh my God, I got this comment here from Man, Bear, Pig, Human. Great channel, subbed. God, thank you so much for that. I wonder what your channel is about. A little scary. And then on the Jean Richard Aquascope Unboxing and Review, I get this comment. Great video on the watch, thank you. And I feel like I know this watch now, and it is a deployant clasp, not a deployment clasp. And all I can say is you're right, you're absolutely right. By the way, guys, go back, watch that video, and I'm gonna sell that watch. Pretty soon I'm gonna make a video of here's the watches that I'm gonna sell, and that's gonna be one of them. Now on the Seiko Blue Lagoon versus the Seiko Paddy video, a guy by the name of Frank Lee says, it's a great watch. Don't think you're a great guy though. Well, Frank Lee, you hurt my feeling, and it was the last one that I had left. Actually, I really appreciate you watching my video and commenting, because by doing so, you raised my YouTube algorithms. So by all means, hit the dislike button. Just make sure you keep watching me. Thanks, Frank Lee. And by the way, my mom thinks I'm a great guy. Well, as many of you know, I've been recently going on a watch diet, but you also know that I'm a dog trainer, and I don't think I should answer this question. I wouldn't know how to answer it. Okay, so this question really represents probably one of the stickiest wickets that I have, and it's asking, you know, where do I like to sell my watches? I don't like to sell watches for two reasons. First is I get seller's remorse before I even ever really sold anything. And the second is it is very difficult to avoid getting ripped off. So I will tell you how I have sold two watches in the past. One, I sold to a fellow member of the Modern Day Watch Enthusiast MDWE Facebook group that I am involved in. He was local, so we met up, and he inspected the watch, and then we traded cash for the watch. That was a very nice transaction, good guy. And another time I sold a watch to a watch dealer, but my good friend Kenny Nguyen from Jewelers on Time was able to vouch for the honesty and integrity of that dealer. And on top of it, I got a wire transfer before I shipped. So he was able to vouch to them for me and vice versa, and that made the transaction work. Because who's gonna wire you money that doesn't know you? You know, so it was an act of faith on their part. But at any rate, yeah, I'm just bad about selling watches, guys. I'm good about buying them. I'm terrible about selling them, and what I'd really like to hear about in the comments is how you guys sell watches. By the way, speaking of seller's remorse, here is that watch that I sold to my fellow MDWE member. It is the Tudor Black Bay with the ETA movement, the ETA movement. And it has that cute little self-winding done in the form of a smiley face. That is the burgundy bezel one. And honestly, I wish I'd have never sold it. So I hate selling things because at the end of the day, I always think, oh, I would have worn that thing more. Of course, I wasn't hardly wearing it, which is why I sold it. But when I look at those pictures, I feel kind of lonely for her. Tell me in the comments, did I make a mistake by letting this one go? And yeah, I could rebuy it, but they've shot up in price since I sold it. Boo. In this comment, James takes note of the fact that I did not show the diver's extension on the Rolex Deep Sea Sea Dweller James Cameron edition. And the fact of the matter is that I had it removed, and it is sitting in the box along with a couple of extra links. So that's just something that you don't really, the average guy does not need on this bracelet. It's heavy enough. So, we reduce a little weight by taking that off. And James also makes mention that I shouldn't worry about scratches. They'll come off during a service. Well, there's a lot of ways to look at that. Here's mine. I do occasional touch-ups on matte finish with a scrubby, and I made a video on that. And I take care of light scratches and even the occasional kind of gouge or nasty scratch with Cape Cod cloth. I don't really believe in waiting years and years and years. And then also too, I would probably be very reluctant to actually have my watches serviced right at the Rolex service center, because they have a tendency to change out dials and basically do whatever they want with your watch. So I think you're actually way better off with an independent watchmaker, and you can get old parts back if you want them that way. And then in my video about whether or not you should take off your Rolex at TSA airport security, Ryan said, I've refused to take off my sub, and I had the same experience as you, which was, I got frisked and delayed, and, they set up a fuss. He said, I didn't care. Been to jail a couple of times. At least the TSA didn't ask me to squat and cough. Well, I got to say, Ryan, you are doing something right. You are out of jail, and you're wearing a Rolex. So, congratulations. Good for you. And, dude, you didn't, steal it, right? In a video where I compared the old Oyster Rolex case with the Super case and the Maxi dial, Richard says that he would love to snag that Sea Dweller. He loves his sub, but I just think that the Sea Dweller is cool. What he's talking about, guys, is the difference between the pre-ceramic Sea Dweller. So that's a 40 millimeter watch, same as the sub, except for it's thicker, it's chunkier, it does not have a Cyclops, and it has writing on the case back. So I got to tell you, when we're talking pre-ceramic 5-digit Rolex reference numbers, the 16600, I'm sorry, definitely it's cooler than the old pre-ceramic sub. So I am with you there, Richard, and I think it's definitely a cooler watch. Made a video about wearing the Rolex Submariner killer every day, and that is my James Cameron edition Deep Sea Sea Dweller. And Jerry asks why they didn't put the Cyclops on there to magnify the date. And it's an easy reason. This watch is built to go down to 12,800 feet. That is 3,900 meters. It's an extraordinary feat of engineering that you can wear on your wrist. And it has a 5 millimeter thick domed crystal. So that's a very, very thick crystal. And Rolex realized that they would never be able to keep a Cyclops on there, that it would just come flying off under pressure, that they just could not affix a Cyclops to it due to the purpose and the nature of that crystal. And however, I think that most people who own this watch are mighty glad that it doesn't have a Cyclops on it. And you're right, the date is kind of small, but we just kind of cope with it. We look through our cheaters. I made a video about traveling with your upscale Rolex into various parts of the world, and Jeffrey is asking if I've ever had security issues with my higher end pieces, and the answer is no. Mind you, once I was in Paris on the metro and I got lost, and let me tell you what, there's some ghettos in Paris, and it got a little worrisome wearing a Daytona. So I just kind of slipped it off and put it in my backpack, and I was kind of naked of watches. But in general, I really don't have an issue about it. Now, what Jeffrey said is that he wears his SKX, which is fine. That's a great watch to wear when you're traveling, or a Squally. Jeffrey, you're going to wind up in a hospital with a mysterious rash if you wear a Squally in the third world, and you might be setting yourself up for an amputation. So I would get a Seiko Turtle like the Blue Lagoon, or a Patty at least, if you didn't really feel like wearing a high-end watch. Now, there are certain cities where you really shouldn't wear a high-end watch, particularly a Rolex, and Buenos Aires in Argentina is one of those cities. But in many cities of the world, particularly in Asia, where they figure they're all fakes anyway, you're pretty safe. So Julio asks me to comment on the 39 millimeter Explorer, and I had a Polar Explorer, which I'll show you right here now. And I know that Archie, the Pontiff, just absolutely adores this watch, which is quite frankly the reason that I got it. And I gotta say, it's not that I didn't like the watch. I did. It's a Rolex. It's beautiful. It has a GMT function, but it wears small for me, and I found it just for my tastes, quite frankly, I found it flimsy, and so I flipped it. Well, guys, thanks for taking that little journey through Q&A land with me. Hope you enjoyed it. And hey, do me a favor, smash, lick, squoosh that like button, and please subscribe to my channel so we can do this again.